Welcome back to the Midnight Who Show, and tonight I'm going to be reviewing Joker 2, a sequel that no one asked for. Now, I will say, I have a controversial take on this film, because I actually somewhat enjoyed it. I will say, it is definitely not a perfect film, and it is definitely not as good as the first Joker film. That film, I still will say, is far superior, and I would rather watch that multiple times than this one. But I didn't hate this film like I've seen online. I felt it was a very good story. But there's a lot of flaws in this film that really drag it down and make it far inferior. And make it far less of a perfect film. Now, one of the biggest problems with this film is that it is a musical. I really don't get what Todd Phillips was thinking of making this film all about being a musical. I think that was a very bad choice, because you're going to have people going to the theater expecting what you got from Joker 2019, and instead you're getting this jukebox musical, and that's not what people wanted. What I can say is I did really enjoy the musical moments that were kind of in Arthur's head. I thought those were brought to life really well, and there had some really great production design with them. But I gotta say, the ones that were kind of in the real world, I didn't think those needed to be included. I don't like that. You know, Arthur does have music in his head, so it did make sense to make that a huge element of the sequel. And I guess you could have kept some of them, but really you should have just cut a lot. And I think that would have helped it. But the musical numbers in his head, I was totally fine with. They were really creative. I really especially enjoyed the courtroom one. I thought that was really well done, and it did felt like a true Joker moment. And it does feel like in the real world, Arthur, Joker, really did want to do that, but he kept himself. It would have been very interesting to actually see that in the real world. That would have been a very interesting end to this film. I will also say, Lady Gaga did a really good job at this version of Lee Quinzel. I think they definitely bring something new to Harley, but I really wish they got more screen time. I think if they did, I think they would have been a great part of this movie. But still, Lady Gaga, great performance. But you can definitely tell there were some moments that were cut, and I think they should have included them. But I really do like how they're more in love with Joker and not Arthur. And that real end where she pushes him aside was just so well done on the stairs. Even if I will say, I thought she was going to push him down them stairs and then the cops show up. I don't know why I thought that. And then she becomes like this new kind of Joker persona. I don't know why I thought of that, but when I was watching, I thought that would have been a very interesting ending. But no, she just pushes him aside. And Arthur kind of accepts his fate, because in that courtroom, he rejects the Joker persona. He doesn't want to be Joker anymore. Joaquin Phoenix is phenomenal as Arthur Fleck and the Joker. I think they have a phenomenal take on this character, and I really enjoyed it in this film. I will say a lot of people push Arthur down in this film. You know, his attorney, the guards, even the interviewer, they're all pushing Arthur into a point. And it's really that interesting question of that, is there this dual personality, or is it just, you know, Arthur creating this kind of Joker to be someone in this world? They're really propped up. And I gotta tell you, I really wish that this movie was all courtroom. That would have been a phenomenal movie. Because honestly, when Arthur became kind of more of that Joker persona and led his defense, that was a great part of this film. And I did laugh that he is really kind of basically pretending to be this kind of like generic Southern attorney that you see a lot in some films. It's just that stereotype, and Arthur brings that to life in this film. And I was laughing at it a bit. And I gotta say, it was really interesting with him confronting, you know, Gary, and just, he really put him down. But Gary was really the only person in the first film that was nice to Arthur. And I really like that kind of thing that Arthur keeps, I would never have hurt you. But he kept laughing his last name, which I found kind of hilarious, but really was a Joker thing to do. Also, the film had a really hilarious opening. That was one of my favorite uses of music in this kind of Looney Tunes style cartoon. That was such a great part of this film. And from that moment, I was like, okay, maybe I can give this somewhat of a chance. So overall, as you can probably tell in this review, I did really like a lot about this film. I really liked the story that they were trying to tell with Arthur. I thought that was really good. You know, Arthur is not this person to look up to or anything. He's just a person who is deeply, has some mental illness, but he is a person who is now being idolized and the dangers of that. And I think it really shows it in Harleen as she's more fascinated with, like I said, Joker. And that's really good. And the ending where Joker does meet their end, Arthur, as he gets stabbed by a fellow prisoner. And that was a great ending, I felt. And I don't really think that's another Joker. It could be, but in reality, it's just someone kind of idolized or just wanting to go against the grain, and he kills Arthur. And I really think that person could become a Joker, or it could be someone else. We don't really know. It's a very open-ended, moment. I will say, though, it does feel like what this movie is saying, that Arthur is not the true Joker. Instead, he is like the first of many. There's going to be more, and one of them might face the Batman. But yeah, those musical moments really bring this film down. I don't think they were needed. I didn't hate them like I expected to, because I am not a fan of musicals, but they were still okay. I just don't think they were needed, and it really should have been more focused on the courtroom side of things, because I think that would have been such a phenomenal movie. But yeah, Todd Phillips, I think he just got free reign, and he made the movie he wanted. And is it what everyone wanted? Probably not. And I really know it's not going to do as well, and we're already seeing it in this opening weekend. It's not going to do as well as the first film, but I don't think it needs to be hated on. It is going to be a very misunderstood film. I think there is some really good messaging in this story about mental health and what it can do to people. You're not supposed to feel, I don't think, you're supposed to feel kind of bad for Arthur in a way, but he has done some terrible things. But you have to really understand the context behind it, and it's very interesting. And maybe you shouldn't idolize the Joker. Such a weird film in a way, but I still enjoyed it, and I would recommend it to anyone who has not seen it. Give it a chance. You might like it, or you might hate it. I don't think there's anything in between, but I did leave the theater feeling pretty satisfied, because I walked in thinking I was going to absolutely hate this film. And in the end, I actually enjoyed it. It's a really good movie, let down by some really terrible choices. What did you all think of Joker 2? Let me know in the comments below, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye, everyone.